Been a hard day's night, and I've been working like a dog. It's been a hard day's night. I should be sleeping like a log. But when I get home to you, I find the things that you do, they make me feel alright. So why on earth should I moan? 'Cause when I get you alone, you know I feel alright. You know I feel alright. You know I feel alright. Hello and welcome to Sly Wagon Lessons. I'm going to be giving you a bit of song-based instruction on how to play the solo from Hard Day's Night by the Beatles on the harmonica with guitar accompaniment. So welcome. It's going to be a great lesson for a couple of reasons. One is it's the Beatles. People love the Beatles, and Hard Day's Night is a great song. Second reason is the solo on the harmonica involves a trill. And the trill on the 4 and 5 draw is where the harmonica, in my opinion, really comes into its own, and it sounds like a harmonica, and it's very engaging, and people will appreciate it. All right, so it's a Hard Day's Night. I'm going to show you the notes for the harmonica solo up in the Picto tab, and the chords. Bit of a zoom in on my left hand there, and there are a couple of variations that I'll show you today. One on the G chord and one on the C chord. But it's a pretty simple little chord progression. At least the way I play it is simple. Those Beatles, they like their complex chord formulations, and you can go down a nice wormhole on the internet reading about that first opening chord from A Hard Day's Night. Hard to achieve when it's just you, because as you'll see in your research, and I would recommend searching on Randy Bachman, and he's got a show on CBC Radio called Vinyl Tap, and he gives the inside scoop on that opening chord from A Hard Day's Night, because he's been in the studio with Giles Martin, George Martin's son, and listened to the component tracks. So it's 3 different components that the Beatles used to make that opening chord. I think George is playing a variation of an F with an added G in there. John is playing a D with a suspended G, a D chord with a suspended G, and then I think Paul is playing the plunkety plunkety with a D note there. They put it all together, and that they get that iconic opening chord to A Hard Day's Night. So search it up. I won't trouble you with that one for today's lesson. The chords that we're going to use, I mentioned variations on the G. So to get this G with an added D, you take your pinky and put it at the 3rd fret on that high E string. Take your ring finger, also at the 3rd fret, but on the B string, so that's your D note, and then the more standard G formation up top here with your index finger on the B note on that 5th string, and then your middle finger can catch the G on the bottom string. So your musical types are going to call that a G with an added D. A bit of a variation on the G. That sounds interesting. And then to make the C chord, the variation on the C chord at least, just take your 2 top fingers there and move them over one string. All right, so you've got your index finger on the C note on the 5th string at the 3rd fret, and you've got your index finger picking up that E note, 2nd fret on the D string. So, and then you can just leave your other fingers where they were for that G formation. You've got the D with your ring finger there on the 2nd string, 3rd fret, and your pinky is still where it was on the third fret of the E string, right? So that's going to be called a probably a C with an added ninth, because that D would be the ninth to the C. So it sounds cool. So it's been a hard day's night. The only other chord that you need to know for the solo portion is an F. I've been working like a dog, like that. All right. Then also in the chord progression, there's a C and a D. Feel all right. Okay. Elsewhere in the song, you'll need to know a B minor. When I'm home, everything seems to be right. When I'm home, feeling you holding me tight, tight, yeah. That's it. It's a pretty simple little song, at least the way I play it is kind of simple. Like I said, those Beatles are complicated dudes. They like some complex chord structures. All right? So we're going to be playing cross harp today. So we're in the key of G, and you get the G pentatonic blues scale on a C diatonic harmonica, all right? So we're 1/4 above. So you just count G, A, B, C. So that's how you know where you'll find the proper scale. We'll find that blues scale on a C harmonica. And I'll rip off the pentatonic scale on the harmonica. If you're going to do it on the guitar, it would be like this. Just a normal G minor pentatonic, it'll be called. If you wanted to do that, not at the third fret, but down more at the end of the neck, it would be like this. Right? So you can play that on the C harmonica. You're going to want, if you can, you want to be able to bend that 3 draw that you'll see in the picto tab so that you get in the B flat note rather than a B, because there's no sharps or flats on a C harmonica. So you can bend that down to a B flat. It's better. If you can't, you shouldn't worry about it. It won't matter, particularly for today's solo. Sound fine if you can't bend, but I'm going to be bending it, and it gets truer to the actual scale if you can bend it. All right? So the scale is like this. Starts on a 2 draw. That's your G. Simple pentatonic scale in the key of G on the C diatonic harmonica. All right, so I quickly showed you the chords to Hard Day's Night, that variation on the G, the variation on the C, and I ripped through the pentatonic scale on a C harmonica, the G blues scale. So that's all we need. We're ready to get into that solo from A Hard Day's Night now. It comes after the second verse, so you'll find that you've finished that second verse and you're on the G chord, and the solo starts with a G note, which is that 2 draw. So I listen, I'm on, 'cause when I get you alone, you know I feel alright. Okay, so to that solo, slowed down now, and we'll put the notes up in the picto tab. I'll try to maintain the proper chord changes at a slower tempo on the guitar, and you can follow along on the chord cam. Again, starts on that 2 draw, and I'm going to try to bend the 3 draw and the 4 draw kind of throughout this solo. All right? all there is to it. So try to hit those bends, and the timing on the trill, kind of when to end the trill, might give you a bit of grief at the start, but with repeated playing, I'm sure it's going to come to you. Enjoy playing Hard Day's Night. All right, so I hope you have enjoyed learning the solo to Hard Day's Night on the harmonica and the guitar. Thanks for tuning in to Sly Wagon Lessons. Please consider subscribing to this channel if song-based instruction on learning the harmonica with the guitar together is something that is of interest to you. I'd also appreciate a like or a comment if you've got some suggested improvements to things you'd like to see on Sly Wagon Lessons. Please drop me a note to let me know. All right? So we had some Beatles there. I'm going to leave you with a solo, another snippet of some upcoming lesson on Sly Wagon Lessons. While I've got my C harmonica in the rack, this one's in first position. Song by Tom Waits, just to play you out today. So thanks for joining. Hope to see you again.